And so now what I can do is if I want to move our box now that everything's at 0, now I'm going to do this the easy way where I can just type in the values in our inspector. So I want this to be a good distance away, and it would be a lot of work to just drag it with our move tool. So instead, I'm just going to go into the inspector on the right side. In our transform position, I'm going to select the Z text. If I click on it, you can see that now it highlights that text, and I can just type in 25. And it automatically moves my box 25 units away on the Z. And a handy thing to know in Unity is that each individual unit, so if I had a Z of 1, that would actually just be 1 meter. So we actually moved this box 25 meters on the Z position, which moved it in front of our vehicle. Last but not least, I'm going to do some cleanup on my different objects. So my crate, I'm going to rename. So my crate, what I'm going to do is in the hierarchy on the left side, if I right click on the crate, I can rename. There's a rename option. I left click that. Now I can type in anything I want. So I'll call this an obstacle for now. And then with our truck or vehicle, if you select the vehicle in the hierarchy, you can actually rename this through the inspector on the right side. If you see at the top, you have the same name that's in the hierarchy on the left. So if I actually click on that text, it highlights all of it. If I type in vehicle and I press enter, now you see in our hierarchy, our truck has been renamed vehicle. So different ways that you can rename your objects. So what you're going to do is in your project window, select the course library, double click on the obstacles folder, left click and drag one of your obstacles into the scene. And then when your obstacle is in the scene, if you select it in your hierarchy by clicking on it, on the right side, you can see all of the information in the inspector about the obstacle's components. Rename your obstacle to obstacle, and then you're going to go to the transform component. Underneath that section, you're going to go all the way to the right. There's this little gear icon. Left click, reset position. So it's back at 0, 0, 0, right where our vehicle is. And then once you've done that, you can go and select the position Z, click on it, and then you can type in whatever number that you want, and it'll move that obstacle in the Z direction. And then what you're going to do is you're then going to select your vehicle, and you're going to rename the vehicle that you have selected to just be called vehicle. Now it's your turn.
Okay. Okie dokie. Let's add an object. Here we go. All right. All right. Go to course library, obstacles, and drag an obstacle directly into the scene view, which in this case was a box. Okay, I believe Alt is going to be the best method. Yeah. Which? Oh, right click. Sorry. Yes, that's it. Okay. And we can zoom in with the mouse. Got it. Yeah, or I could just focus. There we go. Here we go. Perfect. Alright, so zoom out a little bit. Drag it. Oops. I mean to strafe. Oops. Yeah, that's what I meant to do. Alright. Now it's obstacles. Okay. And grab the tray. Oh, it really is in real. Oh, that is neat. Wow. I was not able to do this on my computer. Oh my god, it's super okay. That is so cool. Okay. Um so position this to 0, 0. Oh, no, let's read it. We will not skip ahead or make assumptions. We will do it as we will read it along and go do the lesson as is. All right, in the inspector for your obstacle, in the top right of the transform component, click the More Options button, reset position. Okay. In the inspector, in the transform, reset. Got it. And I think the point was as from the reset, I'm supposed to add a number to Z. In the inspector, change location, and then rename vehicle to obstacle. But let's read it. Step. All right. Let's do this correctly. Let's do 1 through 4. Go to the course library, select obstacles, and drag an obstacle directly into the scene view. 2. In the inspector for your obstacle, in the top right of the transform component, click the More Options button and click the More Options button and then click Reset Position. Note: the More Options button may appear as a 3 vertical dots or a gear icon depending on your version of Unity. In the inspector, change the XYZ location to X equals 0, Y equals 0, Z equals 25. In the hierarchy, uh, right click, rename your two objects as vehicle and obstacle. Let's do that before we mark that complete. So we'll change Z to 25. Oops. 25. There we go. And now we will change this. Right click it, rename, and just name it vehicle. And we will change crate to obstacle. It's dark in here, forgive me. Okay. Um, Double check because my spelling is atrocious. Obstacle. Okay. Oh boy. There we go. Alright, obstacle and vehicle. Done and done. Oops. Okay. Alright, let's move on to the next step. We can mark that as completed, and we can move on to locate your camera and run the game. Locate your camera and run the game. Here we go. Whee!
Now we've added our player, our vehicle, and our obstacle to our scene, but now we really want to get a lens of our player and understand their perspective. So we can actually do that using our camera. If you go to the hierarchy on the left side of Unity, select your main camera by clicking on it, you can see that now we have the camera selected. This very large rectangle pops up, and on the bottom right, we can actually see our camera preview. In fact, if I deselect the camera, the preview goes away, and if I select the camera again, the preview comes back. So the preview is actually what we can see of what the player will see in our game. And in fact, that preview is entirely mapped to this huge rectangle that we can see in our scene. And so this is very helpful to see and understand what the player sees. Our camera actually controls what we see in our game view. So, in fact, if I go to the top of Unity and I press the play button, you can see that our scene view changes to this view here, which is our game view. In fact, in the center, the two tabs are side by side right next to each other. So, in our game view, you can see that if I try and click on our vehicle here, nothing will happen. I can still select the vehicle in the hierarchy, however, nothing changes here. Versus if I go to my scene, you can see that our vehicle's back there. If I select the move tool, I can move our vehicle again. And then in the game view, you can see that our vehicle actually moved a little bit. So maybe if I go into the transform component, if I press like 5, okay, cool. So the vehicle is moving. That's interesting. Now, the one thing about play mode is, so this is how we test how our different objects interact in our world, how our player can, for example, control our vehicle. Since I made changes to our vehicle in our scene view, in fact, if I press the play button again, so I stop the play mode, our vehicle actually moves back. Let's see if I can test that again. We'll go straight into the scene view this time by clicking on it, and I'll just move the vehicle back somewhere to like maybe like 10ish or so. And then I press play again. Our vehicle snaps backwards. So play mode doesn't actually save if we change anything about any of our objects, but our play mode and our game view is really helpful. So when we're testing out how our player actually plays and experiences the game, we can see that in the game view versus in our scene view, where we go to set up our objects, position our vehicles, move our obstacles in our scene, and interact with them that way to create a layout for our environment. So, what you're going to do is you're going to go into your hierarchy, select your camera, you can see the camera, and then if you want to go into your play mode, you can press the play button and it'll go into your game view. In fact, you can use Control or Command P to actually exit play mode. And if you press that again, Control or Command and the P key, it'll go back in. And so you can see what your player will see when they're actually in the game. Now it's your turn.
Oops. Why would it do this? Oh boy. Okay. Okay. Oh, weird. Alright, so locate the camera. This seems to be quick. Select the camera in the hierarchy, then press F to focus on it. Alright, selecting camera. Press F to focus. Okay. Done and done. Okay. Press the play button to run your game, then press play again to stop it. Okay, let's do it. Boom.